Hello everyone, my name is Ivo and welcome to Cooking with the Koyas. So glad you joined me because today folks I'd like to share with you my recipe for what I call my Country Harvest Rye Bread. It's an artisan style bread. I developed this recipe a couple of years ago and it's about time that I share it with you. Is it easy to do? Absolutely. So easy, but incredible results. You won't believe it. Let's get started right now. For this recipe, we are going to use, I have 300 grams of all-purpose white flour, which is about 10.5 ounces. I also have here 50 grams of whole wheat flour, which is about 1 3/4 ounces. And then I have our beautiful rye flour. Okay, and for the rye, we have 100 grams of rye flour, which is about 3.5 ounces. Now, quite simply, to our mixture of flour, we're going to add 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt, just regular fine table salt. I have here 1 1/2 teaspoons of diastatic malt powder. This, folks, it's a natural ingredient. In case you've never seen it or heard of it, it's just basically malt powder. The ingredients are malted barley. That's it. It's a natural ingredient, but you've seen me use it before. It's a superfood for yeast. And speaking of yeast, we're just going to mix this in, whisk it all in together. And now what I have here is I have 1/4 teaspoon, that's all, just a 1/4 teaspoon of instant yeast. Okay, you could use also active dry yeast, but instant yeast is the best. Mix it in. Okay, that's it for our dry ingredients. Now we add our wet ingredients. What makes this artisan style? I've got some beautiful sourdough starter right here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to add 200 grams, which is about 7 ounces of sourdough starter. And the beauty with this, folks, is for those of you who have sourdough, you could even use your discard. Okay? 200 grams of sourdough starter or sourdough starter discard. Now, if you do not have a sourdough starter, I have a video. I'll link it to you in the description. Very easy to make your own sourdough starter. I'll include that for you. Our next kind of wet ingredient is water. This water is 295 grams, which is 10.5 ounces. And then, quite simply, with a spatula or a wooden spoon, just mix all the ingredients together, okay? And keep mixing them until all the flour is incorporated. Now, you're going to get to a point where you're going to have to use your hands, but at least get it started this way, okay? And get as much incorporated as you can. I just turn it around and around, grab a little flour. Okay. So I'm at the point now where I think I'm going to use my hands. So, let's remove some of that. There we go. Now, if you have a mixer, by all means, use your mixer. Okay, I'm going to wet my hands just a little bit. Just basically damp. And all you want to do here is just grab the dough and work it all around. Pick up any of that loose flour with your hand and squeeze the dough in between your hand. So let me continue picking up this flour. It will pick it up. Don't worry. Just keep touching that dry flour with this wet mix and it'll just pick it up. So there you can see we've pretty much picked up all the dry flour. And now all you do, see if I can get in position here to show you, all you're going to do is squeeze it. It's called the pincer method. Just take the dough in between your hand and squeeze it. Okay? Squeeze it. Move it along a little bit, squeeze it. Okay, that's all you want to do. You want to do this for about 3 to 5 minutes. So what'll happen is the dough will start to firm up a bit. And you could even, make sure you grab it from down below, roll it over. Squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. Okay, very, very easy. Take your time. It's an enjoyable thing. It's not work, right? So just take your time. Okay, again, I'm just going to show you very simply. Just grab the dough, squeeze it. Grab a little more, squeeze it. Move along, squeeze it. That's it. So I'm going to continue doing this for, 3 to 5 minutes. So I went the whole distance. I went 5 minutes, and you can see our dough there. Okay, so now I'm just going to, as you notice, I've got some dough along the edges. I'm just going to scrape the edges down on my container. And I should mention, with rye flour, in case you don't know, the rye flour is higher in fiber. It's also higher in protein, but it's lower in gluten. So it's going to make what I'm going to call a denser loaf of bread compared to just a straight white flour bread. Okay? But it's going to be healthier, right? Because we got the rye and we got the whole wheat. So it's going to be a delicious, healthy loaf of bread. So I just like to scrape down the edges and just form a dough ball. There we go. That's it. And now I'm embarrassed to say that, folks, was the hardest part of the whole recipe. Okay, all we do now, I got to put a lid on there, and we're going to let this rest nicely for 12 up to 14 hours. I prefer 12. If you can aim for 12 hours, great. But anywhere from 12 to 14 hours, we let that sit. So I like to do this typically the night before and finish it the next morning. So we'll just let it stay. And in fact, you can see the level where we are right here. Basically, this is going to rise nicely. And we'll check that out tomorrow morning after 12 hours. Our 12 hours have passed, so let's take a look and see how our dough is doing. Oh, ho, ho, look at that, folks. Look at how much it's risen. You remember when I showed you earlier? Look at that. It's beautiful. It's risen up nicely. Oh, nice aroma. It's got a bubbly texture to it. It's coming along really, really nicely. Okay, so now all we're going to do is prepare it for proofing. And this, folks, is another quick and easy step. So we're going to start by taking a little bit of flour, and I'm going to use whole wheat flour. You don't have to. You can use all-purpose, of course. Sprinkle a little on the counter. And then I've got a bread Bonneton here, a proofing basket. And these work great for proofing bread. I highly recommend if you don't have them. They're not expensive, and they work great. So I'm going to liberally, generously, flour the inside of this bread Bonneton. And you can see how I turn it a little bit on an angle because I want the flour to get inside those ridges so that the dough does not stick. And those ridges create a nice texture on the outside of our bread. Okay, so I'm going to say that's plenty of flour on the inside of my bread Bonneton. So I'll just put that aside. And now let's remove our beautiful dough. And again, just absolutely gorgeous. I love that aroma. Okay, so I like to use just a spatula and just slowly kind of work your way around the dough and get it to come out of your container. And it's going to go onto our floured surface. Just slowly work your way around. There's no rush. Okay, and there we have it. Little excess dough there. Okay. So now with our dough on the floured surface, I like to put a little bit of flour on my fingers. We're going to do what's called a four-fold. We're going to grab one end of the dough, kind of lift it and fold it towards the middle. Grab another end of the dough, lift it and fold it towards the middle. grab the side of the dough, lift it, fold it towards the middle, and then grab the other side of the dough, lift it up, fold it towards the middle. Okay, so now I'm going to flip it over and just form it into a round. And just with your hands, you can just kind of cup it around. Okay, and then to shape it, it's very, very easy to shape, folks. Just take the bread on a somewhat dry surface. With your hands behind the dough, just kind of cup it and pull it towards you. Turn it around, behind, and pull it towards you. Do it again, and it's going to develop I'm going to say a medium tight ball. There we go. So what's happening is every time you pull it towards you, it's rolling into a tight ball. And that's nice right there. Okay. So our dough is formed. We're going to put it into our proofing basket. There we go. And now, folks, again, another easy step. We let it rest for 2 hours. So it rests for 2 hours because it's going to go in the oven in 2 hours. So in an hour and a half, we're going to preheat our oven to 475 degrees. So right now, we just got to let it rest. It's been 1.5 hours. Our bread is resting, our dough is resting very nicely and proofing. We're going to let it continue to proof. It needs 30 more minutes. And during that 30 minutes, we are preheating our oven to 475 degrees Fahrenheit. And in the preheated oven, I'm going to put an empty Dutch oven. No flour, no oil, no nothing. And this is a 4.7 liter size Dutch oven with the lid on. We're going to put this, and it is going to preheat as well in the oven for 30 minutes. So that goes in. That'll get nice and hot. 30 minutes more, our bread will be proofed, and we can start baking. Our preheat time is now over, so very carefully, we're going to remove that extremely hot Dutch oven from the oven. And now the fun part. Okay, now remember, this Dutch oven is extremely hot. Okay, let's see how our beautiful dough is doing. Oh, look at that. Very, very nice. So what I do here, folks, is I just slowly tilt this into my hand. It's going to come out because of all that flour. And then very carefully, without touching that hot Dutch oven, place the bread inside. And then you need to score the top of the bread. So I'm using a bread lame here. If you do not have a bread lame, you can score the top with just a straight razor, or you can also use a pair of scissors. And you can score the top with any design you want. I'm just going to go with a very simple 3 slashes just across the top. This is going to allow the bread to rise nicely, and it also adds character to our bread. Okay, so that's now done. There we go. With the lid on, we are going to put this back into the oven. There we go. Again, it's cooking at 475 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to cook it with the lid on for 30 minutes. It's now been 30 minutes, so we are going to, let's take a look, see how our bread is doing. We're going to take the lid off, and it looks like it's done, but it's not done yet, folks. Back in it goes, but this time with the lid off. And it has to cook now for anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, depending on your oven. I'm going to check it after about 6 minutes and see how it comes. But once the top of the bread gets nice and dark and almost on the cusp of burning, that's what I like. Okay, we'll check it in about six minutes. But again, every oven's going to be different, anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. Been just over 6 minutes. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there, folks. See how it's just starting to get on the cusp of burning there on the top? I'm going to say that's enough time. Now, the reason I mentioned anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, look at that bread, folks, is because smaller ovens, things tend to cook much quicker than they do in larger ovens. So it all, oops, that wasn't good. It all depends on your oven. Now I got a nice mess to clean up. But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna let this sit and rest for at least a half an hour. And then of course we'll take a closer look at it, and I will also cut it and we'll take a look at the inside, and of course we're gonna do the taste test. So the reason you want to wait a half hour is because the bread is still developing. The crust is developing, the crumb is still developing, and besides, it's a lot easier to cut once it's cooled down a bit. It'll still be warm on the inside, don't worry. But look at this beautiful loaf of bread, folks. Look at the rise on this bread. Even though we've got that rye flour in there, which is a little denser, less gluten, we still got a beautiful rise out of our bread. And the bottom is cooked perfectly, absolutely perfect. So you know what we're gonna do, folks? Let's cut this open and take a look and see what it looks like on the inside. But that right there, folks, is one beautiful loaf of rye bread right there. Okay, now this is what I had it cooling on. Does the job. If you don't have a cooling rack, just let it cool on a wooden cutting board. Okay, so let's cut this right up the middle. Sounds good already. Oh yeah. Right down to the bottom, right through that crust. Oh boy, folks, look at that. Even though we've got that rye, I was wondering about the crumb, but look at this crumb. We've got some nice air pockets, even though we've got that rye and whole wheat flour. Folks, we've got a beautiful, beautiful airy crumb. Very, very, very nice. And check out the crust. Nice crust. We've got a thick crust on there. Absolutely beautiful. Oh my goodness, folks. You're looking at a traditional, rustic, artisan style rye bread. Time for the taste test, folks. And you know what I like. Now to cut the bread, I typically, if you're gonna cut in half for the dinner table, I like to put my bread sideways and then cut it this way. And that's what I'm gonna do right now. I really like the end pieces. I like this little piece right here. Oh, look at that. Unbelievable. Okay, taste test coming up. Always, always my favorite part, folks. Always my favorite part. And this end piece, lots of crust. Look at the crumb on there. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh yeah. Rye. And I taste the sourdough. What a perfect combination, folks. A little bit of olive oil or some fresh, or a little bit of butter spread on here. Oh my goodness. Who would have thought you could make such a delicious loaf of rye bread so easily? It is unbelievably easy to do, folks. Very, very little effort, but great result. This bread is delicious. The problem is, I'm gonna want to eat a lot more of it. Whether you make a sandwich, toast it, just put butter on it, whatever you like to do, you are gonna absolutely love this rye bread. The recipe is simple, the process is simple. I really hope you give it a try. I'm gonna enjoy this. And wherever you're tuning in from, as always, folks, I want to thank you for spending time with me in the kitchen today. And until next time, buon appetito. Amazing bread.